Hello boys and girls, a very good evening and welcome to this live session on the Quantitative Aptitude section for the upcoming SBI Prelims exams. I hope all of you are in good health and so is your preparation for all these exams which are coming up. Remember, overall I would say the only strategy that works or the only shortcut that you have is to practice more. Here's the question, I think chosen from one of our mock exams. It says 1 year ago the ratio between Lakshman's and Gopal's salary was 3:4. The individual ratios between their last year's and this year's salaries are 4:5 and 2:3 respectively. At present the total of their salary is rupees 4,160. What is the present salary of Lakshman? What is the present salary of Lakshman? I'll leave you with this for about a minute. Let's try it out. Here we go. So here's the question. It says 1 year ago, the ratio between Lakshman's and Gopal's salary was 3:4. The individual ratios between their last year's and this year's salaries are 4:5 and 2:3 respectively. At present, the total of their salary is rupees 4,160. What is the present salary of Lakshman? Now, you got to understand that we have overall 4 variables here. Lakshman's and Gopal's salary last year and Lakshman's and Gopal's salary in the present year. So let's say that last year's salary were L and G. So what is the ratio? L by G is equal to 3:4. 1 year ago, the ratio between Lakshman's and Gopal's salary was 3:4. So last year, Lakshman's salary was L, Gopal's salary was G, the ratio was 3:4. The individual ratios between their last year's and this year's salaries are 4:5 and 2:3 respectively. Now you got to understand this. These are individual ratios, which means Lakshman's salary has improved in the ratio of 4:5 and that of Gopal's has improved in the ratio of 2:3. So if this is L, this is L dash, this year's salary, let's say, and this is G, the other one is G dash. So basically L by L dash is equal to 4/5. By the way, you don't have to write these steps in the exam. I'm just trying to explain it to you in detail. You can cut down all these steps when you solve it yourself. Similarly, G by G dash, Gopal's salary last year to Gopal's salary this year is 2:3. And then at present, which means this year, the total of the salary is 4,160. L dash plus G dash is equal to 4,160. Now, as simple as that, we have got 4 equations, 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 4 variables. Can you solve? Yes. You can solve for those 4 variables. What is he asking us to find out? Present salary of Lakshman. L dash is equal to what? The present salary of Lakshman is L dash. L dash is equal to what? What do you do? See, we already know that L dash plus G dash is 4,160. All we need is a ratio of L dash and G dash. How can you get that? Substitute L and G in terms of L dash and G dash in the first ratio. For example, this tells us that L is equal to 4L dash by 5. This tells us that G is equal to 2G dash by 3. Put this back in the first ratio. So what is L by G? L by G will become 4L dash by 5 whole divided by 2G dash by 3 equals to 3 by 4. Now I need to simplify this. You're getting it? Simplify, what do we get? So we get L dash by G dash equals to, understand, I'm directly writing the step here, but you know what happens behind that, right? See, this is 4L dash into 3, so 12L dash basically, and this is by 10G dash. You're getting it? This denominator here gets multiplied with the numerator of the numerator, and denominator of the numerator gets multiplied with the numerator of the denominator. So 4, 3, 12, 5, 2, 10. So this is actually 12 L dash by 10 G dash, which gets cross multiplied. So it becomes 10 by 12. You're getting it? Simplify now 4 times, and this is like 10 by 16, right? 4 into 4 is 16. 10 by 16 is 5 by 8. That's it. So you know the ratio now. L dash by G dash is 5 by 8. What is he asking us to get? L dash. What will L dash be? L dash is equal to, see, you know that the total is 4,160. L dash and G dash, the total is 4,160. Out of this 4,000, if you divide this 4,160 in the ratio of 5:8, will you not get L dash and G dash? Yes. That's it. So I want what is 5 parts. 4,160 is divided in a total of 13 parts. 5 parts plus 8 parts is 13 parts. Out of those 13 parts, 5 parts represent L dash, 8 parts represent G dash. So L dash will be 5 out of 13 multiplied by 4,160. Now simplify this again. See, it's clear that the answer is okay. Simplify. What happens? See, 4,160. I would take it as 3,900 plus 260. Why? Why am I taking 4160 as 3900 plus 260? Because I'm dividing it by 13. I want the numerator in terms of the denominator. So now 3900 by 13 is 300 times. 260 by 13 is 20 times. So we have 300 plus 20, 320. 320 multiplied by 5, which is 1600. So your answer here has to be 1600. Anyway, I think there's a printing error here. We've got two options as 1600, but you know 1600 is the answer. Option 2 or option 3, 1600 is the answer. I repeat, please do not go by the length of the explanation or the number of steps that we have put here. You can cut down all these steps. You can directly play with this equation actually. See, from this you know that L is going to be 5L dash by 4. From this you know that G is going to be 3G dash by 2. So directly take the division of those two and equate it to 3 by 4. And then the sum is 4160. Okay. So what looks to be lengthy actually is easy to solve. It's just that you need to cut down the number of steps that you write, right? Avoid that paperwork as much as possible. So 1600, option 3 or option 2 is the answer here. And I think simple solution. Alright, let's take up the next question, which is on your screens now. Question on simple and compound interest. Looks like a long one. So it reads, Pawan invested rupees 16,400 in each of two schemes A and B. A offers compound interest compounded annually and scheme B offers simple interest. In both the schemes he invested for 2 years and the rates of interest for both the schemes are equal. If the interest earned by him from scheme A is rupees 236.16 more than the interest earned by him from scheme B, what is the rate of interest in percentage per annum of both the schemes? Alright, so I think a simple question there on simple and compound interest. He's invested 16,400 in two different schemes, right? Each in two different schemes, scheme A and scheme B, where scheme A offers compound interest compounded annually and scheme B offers simple interest. He invested for 2 years in both the schemes and the rates of interest are also equal. So same principal amount in both the schemes, same time period in both the schemes and same rate of interest in both the schemes. But then interest earned by him from scheme A is rupees 236.16 more than the interest earned by him from scheme B. So CI if you see, CI is equal to SI plus 236.16, or if you actually see the difference between CI and SI, D, the difference D is 236.16, right? Let's say capital D, the difference D is equal to 236.16. What is he asking us to get? The rate of interest in percentage per annum for both the schemes. Now this is based on a simple shortcut formula that we had discussed in our videos, which goes as follows. The principal P is equal to D into 100 squared by R squared, where D is the difference between SI and CI, P is the principal amount, R is the rate of interest, and time period is 2 years. For 2 years, for time period equals to 2 years. So when the time of investment is 2 years on a given principal amount and at a given rate of interest, the difference can be picturized as follows. I mean, actually this is the equation for principal, but from this difference also can be evaluated, right? Difference can be taken as P into R square by 100 square. Now we know the difference, right? We know D, we know P. He's asking us to get R. So can I not say R squared is equal to, from this one, D into 100 square by P? That's it. Substitute the values. So what do we get? R square equals to, D here is 236.16 into 100 squared, and the principal is 16,400. Simplify, what happens? Say these zeros get cancelled and these zeros when multiplied will give you 236.16. That is 23,616. Now 23,616 divided by 164. Do the calculation. Calculation as always is your lookout, right? You need to work on the calculation there. I think I can take it as 16,400 plus whatever additional value that we have here, right? Again, split and merge. It's all about split and merge. I'm explaining you how I would do it mentally, right? 23,616 is 16,400 plus how much more? 7,216. 7,216. So the idea is 164 goes how many times in 16,400? 100 times. 16,400 by 164 is 100. Now the question is this: 7,216 by 164 is how much? See, if it is 8,200, it will be 50 times, but this is not 8,200. This is 8,200 minus 984. 984 by 164 will be 960 plus 24, 6 times. So that is like 50 times minus 6 times, plus 50 minus 6. My calculation would be like this, plus 50 minus 6. Now I'm sure some of you must not be able to follow what has been happening here, but then for that you need to practice on your numerical skills. Like I told you, if you start cancelling with 4, 2 and all that, you will end up wasting a lot of time. Smart students will split the numerator in some multiple of the denominator. So 23,616 was considered as 16,400 plus 7,216. And when I break it up, I get 100 plus 50 minus 6. So that's like 150 minus 6, 144. So R squared is 144. That's it. There ends the matter. R should be 12. The rate of interest squared is 144. 144 is what squared? 12 squared. So the answer to this question should be 12% per annum. Now a very simple question, a simple formula to be applied. But what would take time, I'm sure in this case, is the numerical calculations that you need to do. So it's very, very important that you practice on your calculations. All of us will get the right answer, but how quickly do you arrive at the right answer is what matters, right? So practice is the key. The next question is on your screens now. Again, a simple question on average. The batting average for 40 innings of a cricket player is 50 runs. His highest score exceeds his lowest score by 172 runs. If these two innings are excluded, the average of remaining 38 innings is 48 runs. The highest score of the player is. So I think interesting question on 40 innings of a player, right? Now these 40 innings, the average is 50 runs. His highest score, let's assume highest score is H, exceeds his lowest score, let's assume that is L, by 172 runs. So the one thing that we know is H minus L is equal to 172. Highest minus lowest is equal to 172. Then if you remove these two innings out of 40 innings, if you exclude the highest score and the lowest score, if these two are excluded, the average of the remaining 38 innings is 48 runs. What is the highest score of the player? H is equal to what is the question? Now first of all, what is the total score of 40 innings? Total of 40 innings. Total of 40 innings will be what? Average into number of innings, right? So 50 times 40. What's the total of 38 innings? Total of 38 innings, 38 into 48. I mean, average was 48, multiply by that by the number of innings, you will get the total score. Sum basically. You know that average is equal to sum by the number of innings. So sum is nothing but average into number of innings. Average into number of innings. So we know the total of 40 innings and total of 38 innings. See, these 40 innings actually are what? 40 innings are, this is the total of 38 innings plus the highest score plus the lowest score, right? 15 to 40 is the total of 38 innings plus the highest score plus the lowest score. I already know the total of 38 innings is this, 48 into 38. So can I not say that highest score plus lowest score is nothing but 50 into 40 minus 48 into 38? Yes or no? 15 to 40 minus total of 38 will give me highest plus lowest, which is 40 into 30. That's it. Now you don't have to write all these steps in the exam. If you have understood the question, the only step that we'll put on paper is this. H plus L is 50 times 40 minus 48 times 38, and H minus L is 172. This is, let's say, equation number 1, and here is equation number 2. Two equations and two variables. Can you solve for it? Yes. Very easily. You have to find out what the value of H is. Now, it all depends on how quickly do you simplify this. See, 50 times 40 is simple. 50 times 40 is what? 2000, right? 48 into 38 is what is going to take time. 48 times 38 is what would take time. So you've got to simplify that quickly. Yeah? How do you want to do it? See, while there are different ways of doing it. I mean, you can say 50 into 40 is 2000, 48 into 38 can be taken as 48 into 40 minus 48 into 2, or 38 into 50 minus 38 into 2, or 43 plus 5, 43 minus 5, which means 43 squared plus minus 5 squared. Well, all those things can be done. Let's try it a little differently here, right? I'll tell you what. See, can I not say this 50 into 40 is 48 into 40 plus 2 into 40? Yes or no? And minus 48 into 38 as it is. See, what has happened here? I am splitting 50. A different way of splitting here is this. I am splitting 50 as 48 plus 2. I'm splitting 50 as 48 plus 2. So that becomes 48 plus 2 times 40. So 48 times 40 plus 2 times 40 minus 48 into 38. Now, why did we do this? What is the funda of breaking it as 48 plus 2? Why can't it be taken as 45 plus 5? Or why do we need to split it at all? It's simple, right? 50 into 40 is 2000. While that is simple for most of you, the other part becomes very complex for the same set of students. To make this simple, you better split this as 48 plus 2. So what happens now is, you see 48 into 40 is available, minus 48 into 38 is available. If I take 48 common here, what do we get? We get 48 into 40 minus 38. Plus 2 into 40 is 80. Now what is 48 minus 38? 2. 2 into 48 is 96. 96 is 80. 176. Now again, do not try to write all these steps and make your life complex and solution lengthy. You should be able to mentally do this, right? If I am writing the exam, I would assume this is 48 plus 2. So 48 plus 48 into 40 minus 48 into 38. So I know that is 48 into 2, 96. 96, 48 into 2 is 96. Plus the remaining is what? 2 into 40. 2 into 40 is 80. 80 and 96 is 176. So now what do we know? We know that H plus L is 176. And H minus L is 172. Now play with these. Now this actually becomes my second equation. For simplified, right? Simplified now. So H plus L, H minus L. I know plus L minus L gets cancelled. 2H will be 172 plus 176. So basically H will be 172 plus 176 by 2. Average of 172 and 176. What is the average of 172 and 176? 174. That should be the answer. Option 4. I'm sure all of you would get 174, but then did you get this way of doing the calculation, or you try doing in a different way? How quickly do you arrive at the final answer is what matters. So just tried explaining you one way of breaking the number there so that it can get easy for you, right? Okay, so that's solution for the question posted there. I hope all of you followed. 174 was indeed the right answer. Okay, let's move on. What I'm going to present next is a question on data interpretation. Now you know that in the SBI exams and in general in bank exams, data interpretation plays, carries a high weightage. So we have a question here on data interpretation, which actually is not DI. It's a case study or a caselet where raw information is given to you. You have to study this raw information, fine tune it, make a table out of it, and then answer the 5 questions attached with it. All right. So it's a caselet about Pratap and Satyam, who run 2 companies. And then they sell smartphones, LED TVs and watches in 3 different months, May, June and July. So I think a lot of data given there, you have to fine tune that first, right? Raw to fine tune, raw to find data, and then answering those 5 questions would be simple. It's about converting this into a readable format. So I'm presenting this to you. All right, guys, I think let's discuss this now. Look at this. It says Pratap and Satyam are running 2 companies which sell smartphones, LED TVs, watches in 3 months, May, June and July. The ratio of smartphones, LED TVs and watches sold by Pratap in May is 42:36:23, while ratio of smartphones sold by Pratap in May, June, July are 14:23:27. Watches sold by Pratap in May are 230 less than smartphones sold by Pratap in June. So I think after the very first statement, it gets into the data given there, but we need to understand the context, right? What is to be done here? We have got 2 persons, Pratap and Satyam, who are running 2 companies, and these companies sell 3 types of products: smartphones, LED TVs and watches in 3 different months, May, June and July. So what kind of table do you envisage is the question. Do you want to do it using a table or in some other format? That's what you need to make up your mind here, right? So I think since there are 3 types of products and then 3 different types of months for 2 different persons, it is good to have one table for Pratap and one for Satyam. So we should focus on making 2 different tables, one for Pratap and one for Satyam. The table for Pratap can have smartphones, LED TVs and watches as columns and May, June, July as rows. And similarly for Satyam, we can have another table. Let's do it here. So what can be done? Let's say we have Pratap here, for whom we are trying to get the data. So I think a 3x3 grid is what we are looking at, where we have smartphones, LEDs and watches, and the months are May, June, July. A similar table for the other guy, who was Satyam, right? So let's make a table for Satyam as well. Smartphones, right? Then LEDs and watches. May, June, July. This is Satyam. So all we need to do is fill this 9 plus 9, 18 cells and then answer the questions, right? So let's read the first point here. It says the ratio, look at this, the ratio of smartphones, LED TVs and watches by Pratap. So we are focusing on first table in May is 42:36:23. So in the month of May, this month, the first row, right? In the month of May, the ratio of smartphones is to LED TVs is to watches by Pratap is this 42:36:23. So how do you want to write it? I think what we can do is we can say if this is 42x, then this is going to be 36x and this one is 23x. Whenever we get to know one of these three values, we can fill up the other two, right? The ratio is 42:36:23, meaning if this is 42 parts, this is 36 parts, LED TVs and watches are 23 parts, right? While the ratio of smartphones sold by Pratap in May, June and July is 14:23:27. Now this is interesting. The first ratio was different types of products in a particular month, May. So 42:36:23 was the ratio. Now it is about smartphones only. Smartphones sold by Pratap alone in May, June and July. In May, June, July. So May, June, July. The ratio of smartphones sold by Pratap in May is to June is to July is 14:23:27. 14:23:27. Now the point is, if this is 14y, see, you cannot take the same variable x again, right? We cannot take x again here, 14x, 23x, 27x. That would add to confusion. X is with regards to 42, 36 and 23. So this should be like y, 14y, 23y, 27y. But then what we can do smartly here is, instead of taking it as 14y, 23y and 27y for smartphones, see, already I know that this particular cell has got 42x. So can you convert y to x? Can you convert y in the form of x? See what happens if I multiply the idea is multiply this 14 with something so that it becomes equal to 42. If it is possible, we shall do it. Otherwise, we'll leave it. You getting it? So the point I'm trying to make here is, let's say if you multiply the whole ratio here by 3, I mean this distribution by 3, what happens? 42:23:27 would become, sorry, 14:23:27 will become 42:69:81. And you know that we can multiply every term by a common value, right? It doesn't change, the ratio doesn't change. It looks to be different, but actually it's the same ratio, right? 14 into 3 is 42, 23 into 3 is 69, and 27 into 3 is 81. So instead of considering it as 14:23:27, instead of taking it as 14y, 23y and 27y, now I can take it as 42, 69 and 81. And since that 42 is similar to this 42 that we already have in the cell, it can actually be taken as 42x, 69x and 81x. Are you able to follow? So I am avoiding one new variable y, by converting these ratios in such a way that the smartphones in the month of May gets to a common value. So 42, same 42x. If this is 42x, then this will be 69x. And this is going to be 81x. So now the point is, earlier we had only 3 cells with a common variable x. Now we have 5 cells with a common variable x. And any one of these values, once known to us, we can fill up the remaining 4 values. Once we get to know any one of these values, we can fill up the other values. And again, let me tell you this, we are able to do because 14 and 42 are like one is factor of the other. If not, then we will not be able to do it. Then we may have to just continue with y and see how to fill the value. But since it is possible to do it, why not? So 14, 23, 27 has been converted to 42, 16 and 81. So that smartphones in May is to LEDs in May is to watches in May, versus smartphones in May is to smartphones in June is to smartphones in July, have a common thing, right? Smartphones in May. Both can be represented with 42x. Moving on. Watches sold by Pratap. Watches sold by Pratap in May are 230 less than the smartphone sold in June by Pratap. Now look at this. Watches sold by Pratap in May. What is the watches sold by Pratap in May? Watches sold by Pratap in May. Currently it is in the form of X. Watches sold by Pratap in May is 23x. So 23x are 230 less than smartphones sold in June by Pratap. What is smartphones sold in June by Pratap? Smartphones in June by Pratap is 69x. 69x. So basically he's saying 23x is 230 less than 69x. 23x is 230 less than 69x. Are you able to follow? Now write that equation. How does it look like? 23x is equal to 69x minus 230. 23x is 230 less than 69x, right? So when you simplify, what do you get? 69x minus 23x is 46x. 46x equals to 230. Yes or no? 69 minus 23 is 46. 46x equals 230, which means x is equal to 5. Yes or no? We've got the value of x now. We know that x is equals to 230 by 46, which is 5. The moment you know what is x, can you not fill up these 5 values? Yes. Just do that. Multiply everything by 5. 42x is 42 into 5, which is 210. Right? 69 into 5. 69 into 5 will be 345. You know how to multiply a number with 5, right? 81 into 5 will be 405. 36 into 5 will be 180. 23 into 5 will be 115. You getting it? So we've got the numbers here. 210, 345, 405, and 36 into 5 is 180, 23 into 5 is 150. Done. So we've got 5 values. Moving on. In June, 665 smartphones, 400 LED TVs, and 210 watches were sold by the two companies together. He's talking about June. In the month of June, he says 665 smartphones were sold by both the companies together. So refer only to June. Now both the tables have to be considered together. See, in the month of June, 665 smartphones were sold by both the companies together. You're able to follow? 665 smartphones were sold by both the companies together. So if you observe, the total of smartphones in June is 665, out of which 345 is here. So what should be the value here? 665 minus 345. Yes or no? From 665, if I subtract 345, the remaining will come here. What will that be? 320. So we can now say 320 smartphones were sold by Satyam in the month of June. Now total of TVs is 400, total of watches is 210 in the month of June. But then I do not know what is the value of TVs here. This plus this is 400 and this plus this. You understand? LEDs in June is 400, watches in June is 210. Keep that in mind. We have not used it yet. We'll come to that later. Next, Satyam sold same number of smartphones in May and June. Satyam sold same number of smartphones in May and June. Satyam sold same number of smartphones in May and June. So if June is 320, May also will be 320. Very simple. Number of LED TVs sold by Satyam in June was equal to number of smartphones sold by Pratap in May. Look at this. Number of LED TVs sold by Satyam in June. Number of LED TVs sold by Satyam in June. So this value is equal to number of smartphones sold by Pratap in May. What is the smartphone sold by Pratap in May? Pratap smartphone May 210. So this should be 210. The moment I say this is 210, can I not say this is 190? Because total of TVs is 400. You remember? Total of TVs in June is 400. So if this is 210, which is equal to smartphones sold by Pratap in May, this should be 400 minus 210, which is 190. You getting it? 400 minus 210. I can write it here for your 400 minus 210. Right? Likewise, next part says the number of watches sold by Pratap in May and Satyam in June are equal. The number of watches sold by Pratap in May and Satyam in June are equal. So number of watches sold by Satyam in June is equal to number of watches sold by Pratap in May. You're able to follow? While number of watches sold by Pratap in May. How many watches have been sold by Pratap in May? 115. This 115 and number of watches sold by Satyam in June are equal. Number of watches sold by Satyam in June are equal. So if this is 115, number of watches sold by Satyam in June is also 150. Again, going back to the previous statement, we know that total 210 watches were sold by the two companies together in June. Yes or no? In the month of June, we knew that this is 210. Sum of watches in June by Pratap plus sum of watches by Pratap in June and Satyam in June is 210. Out of 210, if 115 has come here, balance has to come here. So this will be 210 minus 115. How much will that be? 210 minus 115, it will be 95. So 95 watches were sold by Pratap in June. Move on. Next. Satyam sold a total of 1025 smartphones in these 3 months together. Satyam smartphones total was what? 1025. What is 1025? Total of this column. The total of this column is 1025. Yes or no? So how will you get the balance now? See, this is 320, this is 320. How much should this be? Are you able to follow? This is 320, this also is 320, 640. So 640, and this will be how much? 1025 minus 640. So that's like 360 plus 25, 385. 385. Move on. Which was 480 more than the total number of LEDs sold by Pratap? Now look at this. Satyam sold a total of 1025 smartphones in these 3 months together, which here is 1025. This 1025 was 480 more than the total number of LEDs sold by Pratap. Total number of LEDs sold by Pratap. Total number of LEDs sold by Pratap is how much? 1025 minus 480. See, he's saying this 1025 is 480 more than the number of LEDs sold by Pratap. So total number of LEDs sold by Pratap is 1025 minus 480, which is equal to what? 545. Yes or no? 545. So basically, total of LEDs sold by Pratap is 545. Total of LEDs by Pratap is 545. I repeat, Satyam sold a total of 1025 smartphones in these 3 months together, which here refers to 1025. 1025 was 480 more than total number of LEDs by Pratap. So 1025 is 480 more than how much? 1025 is 480 more than 545. 1025 minus 480. So that 545 is actually the number of LEDs sold by Pratap. Now I already know the number of LEDs in May and June for Pratap, 180 and 190. How much is that? 370. Yes or no? 370. So what will be the number of LEDs in July? 545 minus 370. That is 175. You getting it? 545 minus 370. Next, ratio of LED TV sold by Pratap and Satyam in May is 12:11. Ratio of LED TV sold by Pratap and Satyam in May is 12:11. So number of LEDs sold by Pratap in May is to number of LEDs sold by Satyam in May is 12:11. So basically 12:11 is equal to 180 is to what? This is 15 into 12. So this should be 15 into 11, which is 165. I mean, calculation is your lookout. You know what this question mark is, right? 180 into 11 by 12. It comes out to be 165. And in July is 35 is to 38 respectively. What is this? Ratio of LEDs by Pratap and Satyam in May is 12:11, and in July it is 35 is to 38. LEDs in July is 35 is to 38. So number of LEDs sold by these two guys in July is 35 is to 38, which means what now? 35 is to 38 is equal to, similarly, 175 is to what? You're getting it? 35 is to 38. In July, the ratio was 35. 35 is to 38 equals to 175 is to what? 175 is the number here. LEDs in July by Pratap. So this goes how many times? 5 times. So question mark should be 38 into 5. 38 into 5 is 190. So this is 190. Only 2 more values are there. Total number of items sold in May was 1075. Total number of items sold in May was 1075. See, total of May was 1075. I already know 5 items in May. The 6th item in May is 1075 minus the remaining 5 items. Yes or no? He's given the total number of items sold in May. Find out the total in May. See, 210 plus 180 is 390. 390 plus 115 is 505. 505 plus 320 is 825. 825 plus 165. That's like 925 and 990. So 1075 minus 990. How much do you get? 85. So this is 85. You understand? You have to take the difference of 1075 with the rest of it. Right? Next. Total number of watches sold by Pratap in July. Total number of watches sold by Pratap in July was 35 less than the watches sold by Satyam in July. While the sum of watches sold by Pratap and Satyam in July is 205. So only 2 things are left out. He says the sum of watches sold by Pratap and Satyam in July is 205. So let's say if this is M and this is N. He says M plus N is equal to 205. Total number of watches sold. Sum of watches sold by Pratap and Satyam in July is 205. But then the number of watches sold by Pratap in July is 35 less. Pratap in July is 35 less than the number of watches sold by. So basically N minus n is equal to 35. Now 2 equations and 2 variables, can you solve? Yes. 2n comes out to be 240. 2n is 240 means n is 120. If n is 120, this should be 35 less. 120 minus 35. What is 120 minus 35? 85. You getting it? So 85 plus 120 is 205. 120 minus 85 is 35. Done. So the table is done. We have got all the 6 values here, or all the 18 values here. Now that the table is done, you can answer the questions very easily. Right? Uh-oh. Okay, I think the screen is not behaving rightly here, but in one way it's good. I know all the numbers on the same page. So let's see. Look at the questions. Try and figure out the questions. I know it's a little difficult, but let me use a different color to answer the questions here. The total number of smartphones sold by Satyam in June and July. Smartphones by Satyam in June and July. Satyam is here. Smartphones in June and July. 320 plus 385. See, this is 320. Here is 385. 320 and 385 is how much? 705. Option C will be the answer. I mean, you can very easily answer the questions. You just have to play with those numbers. So 320 plus 385. 705. By what percent LED TV sold by Pratap in Pratap are more than watches sold by Satyam? I think there's something wrong with the question here. I'm sorry. By what percent LEDs TV sold by Pratap in a month, let's say in May, for example, are more than watches sold by Satyam in July? Now this is like X is what percentage more than Y. How do you do X is what percentage more than Y? X minus Y by Y into 100. X minus Y upon Y into 100. So by what percent is LED by Pratap in May? You will know LED by Pratap in May, 180, more than watches by Satyam in July. Watches by Satyam in July is 120. So 180 is what percentage more than 120? Suppose if it is actually May, 180 is what percentage more than 120? 50% more than 120. So answer should be 5th option, none of this in that case. You know the concept, right? Find the difference in the number of smartphones sold by Pratap and Satyam in May. Simple. Difference of smartphones by Pratap and Satyam in May. 210 and 320. What's the difference? 110 is the difference. Option D. Very, very simple. I mean, it's a cakewalk basically. Answering these questions is just difference of those two numbers, like what we have seen here. 320 minus 210, 110. What is the ratio of number of LEDs sold by Pratap in May to that by Satyam in June? LEDs. Pratap in May is 180. 180 is to Satyam in June. Satyam LEDs in June. Satyam LEDs in June is 210. 180 is to 210. How much is it? 6 is to 7. 30 into 6, 30 into 7. The last question. Find the number of watches sold by Satyam in July. Watches Satyam in July, 120 straight. That's a direct pick. 120 is the answer. So as you can see, answering these 5 questions is very easy to solve. I mean, it hardly takes any time. Less than 45 seconds to answer all the 5 questions. What takes time is making that table out of the raw data. But I think you should practice on more such questions because these are common in exams, especially in bank exams. So simple. Read the statements, convert those to equations that can be used in the tables. You should have that idea of what type of tables do you need. Like in this particular case, we understood that we have to make a table for what is the name? Just a second. Yeah, we had to make a table for Pratap and one for Satyam, right? So make one table for Pratap, the other for Satyam, fill up the values. Sometimes it is possible to just have one table. All the data can be filled in that table and then you can answer the questions, right? So it all depends on how you visualize it, how quickly do you fill up the values, right? So definitely a must solve question in exams. It can get more complex, it can be easier than what we have done here, but then you should give it a shot, okay? So I hope all of you are clear with this. Can we now move to the next question? Clear? So let's move on. The next set of questions that I have is again another data interpretation. This is based on some missing data basically, and you know that missing data has caught up in the recent exams, right? Many questions with some missing data. Well, strictly speaking, it is not missing, right? The missing values are available in the form of question there, but let's try it out. Here's the first one. So read the table and then answer the question. Got it? There are 5 such questions. Once you're done with the first one, we will go through all the 5 there. Got it? Well, I thought this was a simple one, but looks like even this is taking longer. Alright, so here's the directions. The following table shows the number of trips taken by each driver in different days and total amount given to the driver per trip. So if you see, there are different drivers here, W, V, P, F, S. Number of trips taken on Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday. Right, so the driver W takes 3 trips on Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday. And likewise the other drivers, they take 2 trips, 4 trips or 1 trip, right? In that order. Then number of trips taken on Monday and Friday. So here you've got Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday here, Monday and Friday here. So for example, if you see, the number of trips taken by W on Monday or Friday is not known to us. Likewise, number of trips taken by F on Monday or Friday is also not known to us. And then the last column here talks about amount per trip, amount they get per trip. So I think that's the data. Some values are missing. Look at the note. Wednesday and Saturday are holidays. Wednesday and Saturdays are holidays. Intentionally, some missing values are given as hyphen. We have to find the value according to the question. Fine, we know that. We have to find the values of this hyphen based on the question here. But keep in mind that Wednesday and Saturdays are holidays. So for the remaining days, see, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is a holiday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday is a holiday, and Sunday. We know the number of trips taken by each driver per day. Now look at this question here. Find the ratio of trip covered by F on Tuesday and Thursday. Trips covered by F on Tuesday and Thursday. See, how many trips does F take on Tuesday and Thursday? He takes 4 trips each. 4 trips on Tuesday, 4 trips on Thursday. Remember, this is not total number of trips. It's not about total number of trips. It is number of trips taken by them on Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday. Each basically. So F takes 4 trips on Tuesday, 4 trips on Thursday. So you have to get the ratio of trips covered by F on Tuesday and Thursday to that of the number of trips covered by W on Monday, Tuesday and Friday. W on Monday, Tuesday and Friday. Now W on Monday and Friday, of course we do not know the value. On Tuesday it is 3. So basically the second part is going to be, it's like question mark plus Tuesday it is 3 trips plus Friday it is question mark. So we need to find out the ratio. What ratio? F is to W ratio. F on 2 days is to W on the other days, right? So what is going to be F on Tuesday and Friday, Tuesday and Thursday? Tuesday and Thursday is 4 plus 4. And W on Monday, Tuesday and Friday. Monday I do not know what the value is, so it's a question mark. Tuesday it is 3. And Friday also it's question mark. You see, Monday and Friday it's question mark. So basically the final answer is going to be 8 is to 3 plus question mark plus question mark. Basically 2 times the question mark, whatever that number is. So now we need to focus on what the value of this question mark is, what will come in this place. The moment you get that, you can answer the question, right? The moment you get that number, you'll be able to answer the question. Now, how do we get that number? Based on this data here. So number of trips covered by W on Monday, Tuesday and Friday of the week. If, now see, if condition is given. If W has received a total amount of 52,000 in that week. W received how much? 52,000 in that week. See, let's assume number of trips taken by W on Monday and Friday is T. Now he gets how much per trip? 4,000 rupees per trip. How many trips does W make? See, there's 52,000 rupees. W has got 52,000 in that week. W received 52,000 in that week. 52,000 should be equal to what? See, on Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday, 3 trips per day, right? So 3 into 3 plus this T into 2. 2 into T whole multiplied by 4,000. Yes or no? He is getting 4,000 rupees per trip. He has got a total of 52,000 rupees. So if you divide 52,000 by 4, you will get the number of trips. Those number of trips are equal to what? 3 trips each on Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. T trips on Monday and Friday. So 3 into 3 plus 2 into T. Now simplify. 4,000 goes how many times here? It goes 13 times. So 13 is equal to 3 into 3, 9 plus 2 into T. Which implies T should be equal to what? T should be equal to 2. 13 minus 9 is 4. 2T is 4. So T should be equal to 2. That T is nothing but the question mark that we have here. You can say T plus T. Yes or no? So simplify. 8 is to 3 plus 2 plus 2. T is equal to 2, right? Put it back. 3 plus 2, 5. 5 plus 2, 7. 8 is to 7. Answer should be 8 is to 7. Very simple, right? Very, very simple. You just have to play with these numbers. Next question. Same data. Try it out now. What does it say? Find the difference between the earnings made by F in 3 weeks to that of the earnings made by S in 4 weeks. F in 3 weeks. Remember, this is per week. So we have to find out F in 3 weeks to that of S in 4 weeks. If the earnings of P for 3 weeks is equal to the earnings of F in 2 weeks. If the earnings of P for 3 weeks is equal to the earnings of F in 2 weeks. Now try and work on this. So we have to find the difference, right? What is the answer? Difference. We have to calculate difference. What difference? F in 3 weeks. F in 3 weeks, difference, S in 4 weeks. S in 4 weeks. Now first of all, I mean, since the values for S are known to us, let's find out the total of S per week. What is S per week? S per week. How much earnings will S have per week? See, he will make 1 trip per day on Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. 2 trips. You're able to follow. 1 trip per day on Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. 2 trips per day on Monday and Friday. And he gets 6,000 rupees per trip. So what is the total earning of S per week? 6,000 into 1 into 3 plus 2 into 2. Yes or no? 1 into 3. You know why we are multiplying by 3 here? Why? So here basically multiplication factor is 3 for the second column. For the third column, multiplication factor is 2. Remember that. So 1 into 3, 2 into 2. 1 into 3, 2 into 2. So how much is that? 3 plus 4. You're able to follow. 1 into 3 is 3, 2 into 2 is 4. 3 plus 4, 7. 7 into 6,000 is 42,000. So he gets 42,000 per week. How much will S get in 4 weeks? Every week he's getting 42,000. So in 4 weeks he'll get 4 into 42,000. Yes or no? So we already know what is S in 4 weeks. Now we have to find out what is F in 3 weeks. The final answer is difference. We have found what is S in 4 weeks. Now we need to find what is F in 3 weeks. Find out what is F in 3 weeks. Now for us to find out F in 3 weeks, we should know what this value is. Let's assume this is T. This missing value is equal to T. Number of trips made by F on Monday and Friday. But that is not known to us. Instead, if you see the question, it says earnings of P for 3 weeks is equal to the earnings of F for 2 weeks. P in 3 weeks is equal to F in 2 weeks. So let us find out P in 3 weeks. P in 3 weeks is equal to F in 2 weeks. So first of all, let us find out what is F in 2 weeks, which is nothing but P in 3 weeks. Once we get F in 2 weeks, we can also find out F in 3 weeks, right? So what is P in 3 weeks? What is the earning of P? P per week. How much is P per week? Earnings of P per week. Simple calculation. I think both the values of P are known to, right? Known to us. So 3,500. 3,500 into. Now look at this. 2 into 3 and 3 into 2. 2 into 3 plus 3 into 2. So that's like 6 plus 6, 12. 12 into 3,500. So that's like 42,000 again. Yes or no? 6 into 3,500. Sorry, 12 into 3,500. So 35,000 plus 7,000, 42,000. So P per week is 42,000. So what will be P in 3 weeks? 3 into 42,000. Which is F in 2 weeks. You're able to follow. We know that P in 3 weeks is equal to F in 2 weeks. So P in 3 weeks will be 42,000 into 3. Which is nothing but F in 2 weeks. Now what is the actual requirement? I need what is F in 3 weeks. What is F in 3 weeks? See, in 2 weeks, F is earning this much. So how much will F earn in 3 weeks? Simple, proportionately, right? In 2 weeks, he has got this much. So in 3 weeks, he will get into 3 by 2. Yes or no? So 3 into 42,000 into 3 by 2. So basically, F in 2 weeks is this much. F per week will be divided by 2. So 3 into 40,000 divided by 2. F in 3 weeks will be overall multiplied by 3. I hope you are able to follow the calculation here. You're getting the calculation here. Yeah, you're getting it. F in 2 weeks is 3 into 42. So F per week will be 3 into 42 by 2. 3 into 42 by 2. F in 3 weeks will be 3 into 42 by 2 multiplied by 3. So that's the calculation. So now we know what is F in 3 weeks, what is S in 4 weeks. Now come to the final answer. Final answer is what? F in 3 weeks, difference S in 4 weeks. So one value is this, the other value is this. We have to take the difference of these two values. Let me just put the numbers first. F in 3 weeks is how much? See, 3 into 3, 9, 9 by 2. 9 by 2 into 42,000. Difference, what is S in 4 weeks? 4 into 42,000. See, that is the reason I was not multiplying it, because eventually we see we have got a common value here, 42,000. Why to waste our time by multiplying 4 with 40,000 or by multiplying, 3 into 3 by 2 with 42,000. 42,000 can be taken common. So if you take 42,000 common, difference now is equal to what? 42,000 if you take common, we have 9 by 2 minus 4. 9 by 2 is 4.5. 4.5 minus 4 is 0.5. 0.5 into 42,000 is 21,000. Yes or no? Half of 42,000, 21,000. So your answer should be 21,000. Option 5. Alright? So the answer there is 21,000, which is option 5. I hope it is clear to all of you. Okay, we have a question here. Where is it written that they take these number of trips each day and not the total number of trips on Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday? Or is it itself understood? No. If you see, read the directions. The following table shows the number of trips taken by each driver in different days. Right? So I think if you see, the following table shows the number of trips taken by different drivers in different days. So 3 trips taken by different drivers, 3 trips taken by a driver in different days. So it actually means that, 3 trips on Tuesday, 3 trips on Thursday, and 3 trips on Sunday. Yeah? So moving on. Next question. If V takes 2 trips each on Saturday and Friday, then how much he can earn in 2 weeks? So you understand, if V takes 2 trips each on Saturday and Friday, 2 trips each on Saturday and Friday, understand, V, what do we know about V? V takes 2 trips on Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday. He takes 0 trips on Monday and Friday. But now as per the question, if V takes 2 trips on Saturday and Friday. See, actually Saturday is a holiday. But now he's taking trips on Saturday also. And Friday, which was originally 0 for V, is also 2 trips for V. Right? Then how much he can earn in 2 weeks? See, how much can we earn per week? Try to understand. How much will we earn per week? He takes 2 trips each on these 3 days. So 2 into 3 plus, understand, actually it should be 0 into 2, but then he's taking 2 trips each on Saturday and Friday. So another 2 into 2 trips. You're able to follow. I'll just write this 2 refers to Saturday and Friday. Saturday originally is a holiday. Friday originally for him is 0, but he's taking 2 trips per Saturday and per Friday. And 2 days, 2 such days. So 2 into 4. Total number of trips will be 2 into 3 plus 2 into 2. And per each trip, he gets 2,000 rupees. So this should be multiplied by 2,000. This is what he earns per week. This is what he would earn per week. So 3 2s are 6. 6 plus 4, 10. 10 into 2,000 is 20,000. He will get 20,000 per week. But what do we want? How much will he earn in 2 weeks? If he gets 20,000 per week, in 2 weeks he would earn 40,000. It's a simple question. Right? Next one. If the total earnings of W is 1.32 lakhs for 3 weeks, then find the number of trips taken by driver W on Monday. So let's assume, see, number of trips taken by W on Monday is not known to us. Let's assume this is equal to T. Right? Now, what is 1.32 lakhs earnings of 3 weeks? Right? So W in 3 weeks. How much will W earn in 3 weeks? 1.32 lakhs according to the question. So can I say this 1.32 lakh is equal to, see, we are talking about 3 weeks. So 3 into his per week earning. In 3 weeks, he has earned 1.32. Or you can simply divide 1.32 lakhs by 3 to get the per week's earning, which will be 44,000. One and the same, right? Either say per week is 44,000 or get an equation for the whole 3 weeks, whole of 3 weeks. So 1.32 lakhs is equal to, see, since it is for 3 weeks, I am taking 3 times of his earning per week. Now what is the earning per week? W, we are talking about W. So see, 3 into 3, right? There are 3 days here, and T into, there are 2 days here. So 3 into 3 plus 2 into T. This multiplied by what is his earning per trip? 4,000. So now simplify. See, this goes 1.32 lakh by 3, like I said, is 44,000. Yes or no? 44,000. So 44,000 is equal to, look at this, 3 into 3 is 9 plus 2t. 9 plus 2t into 4,000. This goes how many times? 11 times. So basically we get 2t is equal to, you understand, 2t equals to 11 minus 9. You understand? 9 plus 2t is 11. So 2t equals to 11 minus 9. 11 minus 9 is 2. So if 2t is 2, t is equal to 1. So find the number of trips taken by the driver W on Monday. On Monday, how many trips does he take? Equals to t, which is equal to 1. So option D will be the answer. I think one more on this data. Earning of P in 2 weeks is what percent more or less? X is what percentage more or less than earning of S in a week. Now earning of P in 2 weeks. See, how many trips will P make? Now you can do it mentally, right? You don't have to put pen on paper. 2 into 3, 3 into 2. Similarly, S is 1 into 3 and 2 into 2. So number of trips made by P is 6 plus 6. 12. 12 into 35,000, his per week will be 42,000. And we want P in 2 weeks. So into 2, which is 84,000. Similarly for S. S in how many weeks? S in a week. S in 1 week. So S in a week will be what? 1 into 3, 3. 2 into 2, 4. 4 plus 3, 7. 7 into 6,000, 42,000. Into 1, because we are talking about 1 week. So earning of P in 2 weeks, which is 84,000. So basically 84,000 is what percentage more or less than 42,000. 84,000 is what percentage more than 42,000? 100% more. Yes or no? It is double, right? So it is 100% more. Remember, the formula to be used is x minus y by y into 100. So 84 minus 42 by 4200. 42 into 100. So that's like 42 by 42. 42 by 42 is 1. 1 into 100 is 100%. So x is how much percentage more than y? 100% more than y. Don't go wrong by marking the answer as 200 in a hurry. 200 is not the answer. 84 is 200% of 42,000. 84 is 200% of 42,000. But it is 100% more than 42,000. Please do not mark 200 as the answer. A very commonly committed mistake in this question would be marking the answer as option C. You are right if you say 84 is twice of 42. Correct. 84 is twice of 42 means 84 is 200% of 42,000. But is he asking 84 is what percentage of 42? No, he's asking 84 is what percentage more or less than 42. Remember, if x is what percentage of y, x is what percent of y, it will be x by y into 100. X is what percentage more or less than y? What percentage? More or less than y. X is what percentage more or less than y? X minus y by y into 100. Two very, very important concepts. What is he asking here? X is what percentage more or less than y? Second one. So you should say it is 100% more than y. Option 1 will be the answer and not option 3. And with that, we come to the end of that interesting set on data interpretation. Actually, a very simple set. You just have to be careful when you're doing those calculations, right? The only ways to go wrong here is to do wrong calculations. I mean, conceptually, there's nothing much involved, right? It's a very, very simple concept. Number of trips per day is given for different days of the week. Find out the ratios or differences or sum or average, whatever he asks us to do. Of course, 1 or 2 values are missing, which are easy to identify based on the data given in the question there. Okay? Clear to all of you? Can we take up the next one? We still have some time. Let's take up more questions. One more DI? Yeah. This is on time and distance, some sort of time and distance based questions. Again, this is a recent trend, right? I mean, earlier data interpretation questions used to be all about profit made by a company in different years or different types of products sold by different companies or population and that sort of data. But if you see recently, they have started asking these arithmetic aptitude topics under data interpretation, like time and work framed in the form of data interpretation, time and distance in the form of data interpretation, simple and compound interest in the form of data interpretation, profit and loss in the form of data interpretation, right? So we have one such question here, which is on time and work, time and distance actually. Let me present the data to you. I mean, I'm sure you will be able to answer the questions easily. You need to know the concepts of time and work to be able to answer such questions, to be able to answer these questions. So let me present the first one to you. You can take your time to solve it and then we will look at the remaining questions. Here we go. Let's solve this now. Here. There are 5 trains: Avantika Express, Ajanta Express, Agra Express, Amravati Express and Amrita Express. The following information is known in the table regarding the number of coaches, the length of each of their coaches and the train speeds. So I think you've got the 5 trains here, 5 expresses, the number of coaches, Of course, some are given in terms of y and x here, right? 3y by 5x. The length of each coach. So y by 2 is the length of each coach here. And otherwise, we know the lengths properly, right? And the speed of the express, 144 kilometers per hour, 72 kilometers per hour, and so on. Yeah, so basically we have been given the number of coaches in each express, the length of each coach, and the speed, right? Now you can understand that the length of the train can be taken as number of coaches into the length of each coach. Yes or no? You got to understand the length of. Now of course you can say where is the engine? Engine length also has to be added, but I think you can for the sake of solving it, you can assume that it is nothing but length of the coaches into number of coaches. So length of the train is equal to number of coaches into length of coach. Length of the train will be equal to number of coaches into the length of coach, right? For example, if you say what is the length of Avantika Express, 19 into 20, it will be 380 meters. It is in meters, right? Be careful, 380 meters. So 380 meters, this is going to be 21x meters. This is 22 into 22.5, right? So you just need to do that calculation. Similarly, 15 into 24, right? And this will be 3y by 5 into y by 2. So once we know the value of y, you can find out the length of the train here, right? By the way, in case you have to multiply 22 with 22.5, what do? 22.5 can be taken as 22 plus 0.5. So 22 into 22 plus 22 into 0.5. That's like 22 square plus half of 22. 22 square is 484. So 484 plus 11, 495. In case you want to do it, 495 meters. 15 into 24, that's like 240 plus 120, 360 meters. This would be what? 3y squared by 10 meters. Anyways, so the idea is the lengths can be found. The length of the train can be found here. Now look at this question here. If y is 1.5 times the length of Avantika Express coach, y is 1.5 times the length of Avantika Express coach. So y should be equal to what? 1.5 times the length of Avantika Express coach. Where is Avantika? Avantika Express here. Length of Avantika Express coach is 20. So y is 1.5 times the length of Avantika Express coach, meaning y will be equal to what? 1.5 into 20, which is 30. Then how much time is taken by Amrita Express to cross a platform of length 3y? How much time will be taken by Amrita Express to cross a platform of length 3y? First of all, what will be the length of Amrita Express? What will be the length of Amrita Express? 3y by 5 into y by 2, which we have already done, 3y square by 10, right? So we can say it will be 3 by 10 into y squared, which is 30 into 30. You getting it? Taking y as 30, we can find the length of Avantika Express, right? 3 into y square by 10. So 3 into 30 square by 10. How much is this? This is like, anyway, this 0 gets cancelled. 9 into 30, 270. So we know the length of Amrita Express is 270 meters. We also know the speed of Amrita Express. Now, how much time is taken by Amrita Express to cross a platform of length 3y? See, we know that when a train is crossing a platform, we can say speed of the train is equal to length of the train plus length of the platform divided by time. We have discussed all this. Now don't get confused. Where do we get the formula from? All these things are known to us, right? Speed of the train is length of the train plus length of the platform by time. He's asking us to find out the time. How much time? So time can be taken as length of the train plus length of the platform by speed. Now what is the length of the train? This is LT. Length of the train is nothing but length of Amrita Express, which is 270. What is the length of the platform? Length of the platform is given as 3y. To cross the platform length 3y. 3y is nothing but 90 meters divided by speed of the train, ST. What is the speed of the Amrita Express? 144. The only problem that we have here is distances are in meters. 270 meters, 90 meters. This is kilometers per hour. So convert 144 into meters per second. How do you convert 144 into meters per second? To 5 by 18. Multiply by 5 by 18. So 144 into 5 by 18. Or here itself we can multiply by 5 by 18. So how much is this speed? This is like 8 into 5, right? 40 meters per second. Yes or no? 144 kilometers per hour is 40 meters per second. Because 18 into 8 is 144. 8 into 5 is 40. So instead of taking 144, let me take 40 here. 40 meters. Now it's okay. Everything is in meters and seconds. 270 meters, 90 meters, 40 meters per second. 270 plus 90 is 360. 360 by 40 is 9. So 9 seconds is your answer. Option D. Do not go by the length of the explanation, because as always I was explaining it, I was not solving it. And all this calculation is not required. You can do it as and when required in the question. Right? And you know that length of the train would be simple number of coaches into length of each coach. Here's the next one. If X is equal to 4/3 of the number of coaches of Amravati Express, then what is the difference between the time taken by Amravati Express and Ajanta Express to cross a pole of 200 meter height? Solve it now. X is 4/3 of the number of coaches of Amravati Express. X is 4/3 of number of coaches of Amravati Express. So what will be the value of X? 4/3 into number of coaches of Amravati Express. Amravati Express here. Number of coaches of Amravati Express is 24. 4/3 of 24. 4/3 of 24 is how much? 32, right? This goes 8 times. So 32. So we know that X is equal to 32. Now, what is the difference between the time taken by Amravati Express and Ajanta Express to cross a pole of 200 meter height? Now, first and foremost, you understand that this 200 meter height is redundant information. It is useless. It is not required for solving the question. Don't get confused. Whether the pole is of 200 meters height or 400 kilometers long, or it is 20 meter high, or it is 10,000 meters high, doesn't matter. Because when you're crossing a pole, it's like crossing a man. It's like crossing a point. It's like crossing a flag post. So the length of the pole does not matter. You understand? He says the pole is 200 meter high. So it's like a pole. You have to cross this pole of 200 meter high. You know that when you're crossing the pole, this height, it makes no sense. What you're crossing is this horizontal distance, which is negligible. This is negligible, right? This is negligible. So don't get confused with this 200 meter height there, right? The 200 meter height is of no use. You just have to use the formula for crossing the pole. What is the formula for crossing a pole? When a train is crossing a pole, see, we are looking at time, right? When a train is crossing a pole, time can be taken as, the formula is this: speed of the train is equal to length of the train by time, because length of the pole is 0, negligible. So time can be taken as simple. Time is length of the train by speed of the train. Okay. So he's asking us to find out the difference in the times. Time taken by Amravati and time taken by Ajanta. Now what's the time taken by Amravati? Time taken by Amravati. Length of Amravati by speed of Amravati. What is the length of Amravati? 15 into 24. 15 into 24 divided by 108. 108 should be converted to 5 by 18. I mean, converted to meters per second basically. So this is 6 times 30. This is the time taken by Amravati. Simplify this. This is like 12, right? 2 times here, this is 12. So 12 seconds. Time taken by Amravati is 12 seconds. What's the time taken by Ajanta? Time taken by Ajanta. Ajanta. X into 21. We have already got X, 32. Right? So 32 into 21 will be the length of Ajanta divided by speed of Ajanta. 126 into 5 by 18. How much is this? This is 7 times. Right? 7 into 5, 35. So speed is 35. Now simplify this. 7 into 3, 7 into 5. 32 into 3 is 96. Right? 32 into 3 is 96. 96 by 5. It's not going to be an integer value. So we can mark fifth option, none of this. Yes or no? Did we get X correctly? 32, 24 by 3 is 88, 4 is 32. So length of Ajanta is 32 into 21 divided by speed of Ajanta, 126 into 5 by 18, right? 35, yeah. 7, 3, 7 5s. 3 into 2, 32 into 3 is 96, 96 by 5. How much is 96 by 5? 19.2. So 19.2 seconds. Difference. The difference is going to be 19.2 minus 12, which is 7.2 seconds. 7.2 seconds is option 5. Did he ask for approximate? No. He's saying what is the difference between the time taken? I would mark option 5, none of this. Okay, I think I've made a mistake here. I'm so sorry. X is 4/3 of number of coaches of Amravati. I consider number of coaches as 24. Actually, number of coaches is 15. Sorry about that. I think this is not 24. That's my mistake. I will lose 1.25 marks for this question. Be very careful. This is not 24. It is 15. So all this would change. Yeah, let me just, I'm sure the solution is the same, it's just that numbers have to change. 4/3 of number of coaches of Amravati. Number of coaches of Amravati is 15. In a hurry, I copied 24. And I deserve to lose that 1.25 marks here. So 4/3 of 15 will be 20. Yeah. Then this will be 20. Ajanta Express, length will be 20 into 21 by 5. So 5 goes 4 times. This is... Anything else that would change with X? No, right? 12 seconds. Anyway, answer remains fifth option, none of this only, because answer is 0 seconds. Reference is 12 minus 12. I'm lucky. I will not lose I will not lose 0.25 marks. I'll actually get 1 mark here, but my solution would be wrong. Okay. Anyways, be careful. Option 5, none of this is the answer. 0 seconds is the answer. It's not 7.2. It's 0 seconds. Option 5. Next question. What is the time taken by Agra Express to overtake Avantika Express? Agra Express to overtake Avantika Express. I think all the numbers are known to us. Now, this is about 2 trains crossing each other. Overtake. Overtake means what? Overtaking is possible when they're moving in the same direction. Overtake means what? They're moving in the same direction. And what's the formula to be used when 2 trains are moving in same direction? Speed of the first train minus the speed of the second train, length of the first train plus length of the second train divided by t. This is the formula to be used. We have discussed this in detail in our videos. Please refer to the time and distance videos. Now he's asking us to find out the time. Time taken by Agra Express to overtake Avantika Express. So time is nothing but, see, what is the distance to be covered by both the trains? Sum of the lengths. Hereby difference of the speeds. Why are we taking difference? Because it's overtaking. When you're running in the same direction, the speed, relative speed is the difference of speed. When you're running in opposite directions, then the relative speed is the sum of the speeds. Simple. So take the sum of the lengths of the 2 trains, difference of the speeds of the 2 trains, divide to get the time taken. What is that? So what will be the time? Length of the first train. Let's say Agra. What is the length? 22 into 22.5. Yes or no? What is 22 into 22.5? 484 plus 11. 495. Length of the other train, Avantika, 19 into 20, which is 380. So basically it should be 495 plus 380 divided by speeds. This is 90 into 5 by 18. I am converting this to meters per second. So that is 25 meter per second. 72 into 5 by 18. So this is 20 meter per second. So what's the difference of the speeds? 25 minus 20. Simplify. So basically 25 minus 20 is 5. Now 495 plus 380 by 5. That's like 500 plus 375. Take 5 from 380, give it to 495. I'll tell you how to add it in a faster way. Don't add 495 with 380. Instead, let 495 borrow 5 from 380. So this will become 500. This will become 375. That is easier to add, right? 500 plus 375 is 875. 875 divided by 25 difference 20 is 5. So time taken is these many seconds. Time taken is these many seconds. How many seconds, by the way? 875 by 5. So that's like 160 and 15. 175, right? 175 seconds. Time is equal to 175 seconds. Yes or no? 175 seconds. 175 seconds is not... This is converted to minutes. 175 seconds is very close to 3 minutes, right? Or 2 minutes, 55 seconds. 2 minutes is 120 seconds, additional 55 seconds. So 2 minutes, 55 seconds. Option B. Yeah. Here's the next one. Try this now. What is the question? If X is equal to the length of coach of Avantika Express and Ajanta Express takes 15.6 seconds to cross a bridge, what is the time taken by Amravati Express to cross the same bridge? So 3 different trains have been involved in this question. Do it carefully. First of all, X is equal to the length of the coach of Avantika Express. What is Avantika Express? What is the length of the coach of Avantika Express? 20. So X is equal to 20. That part is done. X is equal to the length of the coach of Avantika Express. X is equal to 20. And Ajanta Express is here. Ajanta Express takes 15.6 seconds to cross a bridge. Now understand, time taken to cross a bridge. Time taken to cross a bridge is nothing but length of the train plus length of the bridge divided by speed of the train. This is how you calculate the time in case of crossing a bridge. Again, if you're not able to follow the formula, refer to our videos on time and distance. So this 15.6 seconds, time here is given, right? 15.6 seconds is the time taken by that train to cross the bridge. 15.6 equals to length of the train. What is the train here? Ajanta Express. Yes or no? We are referring to Ajanta Express now. Ajanta Express takes 15.6 seconds to cross the bridge. So 15.6 equals to length of Ajanta Express plus length of the bridge divided by speed of Ajanta Express. What's the length of Ajanta Express? 20 into 21. Yes or no? Length of Ajanta Express is 20 into 21, which is 420. 420 meters, right? Speed of Ajanta Express, let's convert to 5 by 18. How much is that? 35 meters per second. Yes or no? It goes 7 times 7 5 35. Now simplify. So 15.6 seconds is equal to length of the train, which is 420 meters, plus length of the bridge, that's what we need to evaluate from this, divided by speed of the train, which is 35. So from this, length of the bridge can be taken as 15.6 into 35 minus 420. Now, why did we find out the length of the bridge? What was the requirement here? Because we need to find out the time taken by Amravati Express to cross the same bridge. Again, time taken to cross a bridge, we have already noted the formula. Length of the train plus length of the bridge by speed of the train. Now, we know the length of Amravati Express. What is the length of Amravati Express? 15 into 24. 360 meters. We also know the speed of Amravati Express. 108 into 5 by 18, which comes out to be 30 meters per second. But what we do not know here to get the answer is the length of the bridge, which is available now. So we have to use the example of Ajanta Express or time taken by Ajanta Express to calculate the length of the bridge, and then use that length of the bridge in this to get the time taken by Amravati Express to cross the same bridge. So if you see, other than X being length of the coach of Avanti Express, the remaining part of the question has been solved in our time and work videos. We have solved such questions. We have solved such questions in the past. There's nothing new, right? There is nothing new. So now work on this. Try and work on this. Find out 15.6 into 35 minus 420. Now final answer is going to be what? Time taken by Amravati is equal to what? Length of Amravati 360 plus length of the bridge that we get from here, right? Divided by speed of Amravati. Speed of Amravati is 30. Now simplify this. Length of the bridge 15.6 into 35 minus 420. Now I'll tell you how to do it. Don't multiply 15.6 with 35. It is going to take a lot of time. I mean, a lot of time as in it is complex in my view. What I would do is I'll take 420 as 35 into 7. Maybe that will make it easy. Then if I take 35 common, it will be 15.6 minus 7. 8.6. I mean, anyway, still you will have to do 35 into 8.6. But so overall, this becomes 35 common. 15.6 minus 7. 8.6. 35 into 8.6. Now it is 35 into 8. 35 into 8 is 17 to 4, 280. Plus 35 into 0.6. 35 into 6 is 210. So 35 into 0.6 will be 21. 280 plus 21 is 301. So this is 301. So 360 plus 301 by 30. So 360 by 30 is 12. 301 by 30 is 10. Somewhere around 22 seconds. Or no. What is wrong here? Hold on. I don't see any option which is close to 22. Is the calculation correct? 15.6 length of the train, Ajanta only, right? 420 length of the bridge, speed is 35. So 15.6 into 35 minus 420. Oh, this is 35 into 12. I'm so sorry. Sorry, I think again calculation mistake. This time calculation mistake. Last time I picked up a wrong value, but this time it's a calculation mistake and I deserve to lose 1.25 marks again. I took 420 as 35 into 7. It should be 35 into 12. Yeah, so 35 into 12. If you take 35 common, it will be 35 into 3.6. 35 into 3.6. How much will that be? 35 into 3.6. Let me clear it, sorry. Yeah, so time taken by Amravati is length of Amravati, which is 360, plus length of the bridge that we'll anyway get from there, and speed of Amravati is 30. Now what is this length of the bridge? 35 was common, 15.6 minus 12 is 3.6, 35 into 3.6. Now how do you get that? 35 into 3.6, 35 into 3, 105, 35 into 0.6 is 21, right? 35 into 6 is 210, 35 into 0.6 will be 21. So 105 plus 21. 105 plus 21 is 126. So 360 plus 126 by 30. You can do individually, right? 360 by 30 is 12. 126 by 30. 120 by 30 is 4. 6 by 30 will be 0.2. So this is 4.2. 12 plus 4.2, 16.2 will be the answer. Option E, 16.2 is the answer. Alright? Be careful. I mean, too many values there. Like I have reflected here, right? Like you could have seen in my solutions. Once I picked up a wrong value and once I did a silly error in the calculation, and I lose 1.25 marks for every mistake that I commit. And these are not questions where you should commit mistakes. You should be committing mistakes, right? So be very, very meticulous. The last one from this data. What is the average taken by the 5 trains to cross a pole if X and Y are 20 and 30 respectively? X and Y are 20 and 30 respectively. So X is equal to 20, Y is equal to 30. So if Y is 30, how much will this be? Number of coaches, 3 into 30 by 5. 30 by 5 is 6, 3 into 6 is 18, and this will be 30 by 2, 15. So we know all the variables now, right? What is the average taken by 5 trains to cross a pole if X and Y are 20 and 30? So X is 20, Y is 30. So 3/5 of 30 is 18, half of 30 is 15. Now, what is the average time taken by 5 trains to cross a pole? See, you know the time taken to cross a pole is equal to length of the train divided by speed of the train. That's it. So let us first find out the time taken by each of these trains. Remember, you cannot take the average directly. You have to find out the times, individual times, and then take the average of those times. You cannot do it in any other shortcut way. Don't try to take the average time as lengths of all the trains, sum of the length of all the trains divided by speeds of all the trains. It cannot be done, right? Simple. Average time will be average of all the times. First of all, find the time taken by each train, right? And it's better we convert these kilometers per hour to meters per second. So if I have to convert this to meters per second, 144 is how many meters per second? 144 into 5 by 18. So it goes how many times? 8 times, right? 8 into 5, 40 meters per second. This is 18 into 4, 4 into 5, right? 20 meters per second. 126 is how much? 35 meters per second. 90 is 25 meters per second, and 108 is 30 meters per second. You understand? Converted kilometers per hour to meters per second. Multiply by 5 by 18. So 144 by 18 is 8. 8 into 5, 40. 72 by 18 is 4. 4 into 5, 20. 126 by 18 is 7. 7 into 5, 35. 90 by 18. Of course, many of these calculations you have already done in the previous question, so you don't have to waste your time here. But since I don't have values copied, I am doing everything again. So 90 by 18 is 4, into 5 is 25. 108 by 18 is 6, into 5 is 30. So we know the speeds in meters per second. And now lengths, find out the lengths, all the lengths. So basically length is the product of these things, right? Length of each train has to be found, right? So 18 into 15. How much is 18 into 15? 270. Is it 180 plus 90? 19 into 20, 380. 20 into 21, 420. 22 into 25, 484 plus 11, 495. 15 into 24, 360. Now find out the times. What is the time by each? Time we have already discussed, like length by speed. Do that. You know the length, 270 by speed. I think it's time consuming. You have to do that calculation. There is no other way out, right? You cannot do it in any other shortcut way. You have to find all the lengths first. You have to find all the times in meters per second. Then you have to find all the speeds in meters per second. Then you have to find the time, length by speed, length by speed, length by speed, and so on. And then you have to take the average of those times. So either do all that calculation or don't do it. There's no other shortcut. So 270 by 40. How much is 270 by 40? Time is equal to 270 by 40. So that's like 240 plus 30, right? 6.75. What is the time here? 380 by 20 is 19 seconds. What is the time here? 420 by 35. So 350 plus 70, 12 seconds. What's the time here? 495 by 25. So that's like very close to 20. In fact, 19.8. 495 by 25. It will be like 475 plus 20. 475 by 25 is 19 times, right? And 20 by 25 is 0.8. So 19.8. And what is the time in the last case? 360 by 30 is 12. Now you need to take the average of all these values. What is the average sum of all the values by number of values? Do that. Anyway, you know that it will be between 6.75 and 19.8. Yeah, all the values are in that range. So do the calculation now. See, 19 and 19, 38, 12 and 12, 24. So 38 and 24 is 62. Yes or no? 62 and 6 is 68. 68 and then 0.8. 68.8. 68.8 and 0.75. 69.55 divided by 5. Average time. Average time is equal to 69.55 by 5. You're getting it? 19, 19, 38, 12, 12, 24. 38 and 24 is 62. 62 plus 6 is 68. 0.8 and 0.75 is 1.55. 68 and 1.5 is 69.55. Now if you see, very close to 70. 70 by 5 is 14. Answer should be approximately 14. So average time, I know, will be approximately 14, slightly less than 14. Look at the options. Eliminated, 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 eliminated. Option 3 has to be the answer. Why? Do I know is it exactly 13.91? No. But what I know is remaining are wrong. Answer should be very close to 14 and it should be less than 14. See, we approximated it as 70. If it is 70, then 70 by 5 is 14. But this is less than 70. So less than 14. What is less than 14 and very close to 14 here? Only option C, 13.91. So that has to be taken as the answer. But then doing all this would definitely take more than a minute. So you may also prefer skipping the question. But remember, if you want to skip it in the first 5 seconds. Don't go halfway the solution and then realize, oh, this is too much, so many calculations, and it's better I skip it. Then it makes no sense. Either don't do it or do it fully. After spending 1 minute, you realize that, okay, it is too long. Now let me skip it. It is a waste of your 1 minute, right? So what really is important here is when you read a question, you should be able to gauge how much time it's going to take. Like in this one, you should know all the speeds have to be converted to meters per second. So 5 calculations. All the products have to be done. Number of coaches into length of each coach. So 5 more calculations to get the length of the train. Now you have all the lengths, all the speeds. So each one will give you time. So 5 more calculations. And these 5 are divisions, which usually take longer. Then you have to do the average. So 1 more. So 5 plus 5 plus 5, 15 plus 1, 16. After doing 16 calculations, you will arrive at the answer. Even if each calculation, let's say, takes about 2 to 3 seconds, it's going to take 48, 50 seconds, 60 seconds. I mean, definitely about a minute or slightly less than that, let's say, somewhere around that. It's not a 30-second problem, definitely not a 30-second problem, right? You cannot, or I don't know if you have a smarter way of doing it, but I cannot solve it in 30 seconds. It involves number of calculations. While the calculations are all simple, not every calculation might take 2 seconds. And then reading the question, understanding that, doing all that would also take 10-15 seconds. So overall, it is close to 1 minute problem. Either you do it or you skip it. And like you always say, when there are 5 questions in data interpretation, you are not supposed to solve all the 5, right? It's not that only if you solve all 5, you'll get marks, otherwise you'll not get it. Even if I solve 3, which each one takes 20 seconds, I'll get 3 marks. Why do I solve 2 longer ones? So pick your questions smartly. Instead of wasting time on this one, you better solve 2 easier questions, either from this DI or some other DI or some other question. Yeah. So be very, very... Okay, so on that note, I think we can wind up the session here. I think a couple of interesting data interpretation questions, 1 case-led, and 3 or 4 independent questions there. Net, I think the moral of the story remains the same. When it comes to quantitative aptitude, you have to be very, very sharp and quick with numbers, right? And practice will only make it happen. So practice is the key. Keep practicing and do take very good care of yourselves. Bye.